everybody got them in the training pick packet today, so they're ready to see them. So we have a motion. Can we do a motion for both minutes or separate? Okay. So can you first have a motion to accept the July 20th minutes? Jackie, thank you. Second. Thank you, Aaron.
Are there any extra
Great. Yes, sir. I presume it's a typo, which we done.
I haven't looked at them.
So with that correction, we have a motion to accept. Maybe all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Thanks. Next will be the September 9th minutes of the special meeting. We'll go to executive session. First, second. Aaron, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Awesome, thank you. Rocky, may I have the treasurer's report?
Okay, in terms of financial statements, just very briefly, in terms of the statement of financial position, the cash flow is okay, and there aren't any issues associated with that. You probably noticed that the SBA PPP loan still is considered liability until the forgiveness has been approved. So it's still showing up as a liability on the statement of financial position. In the statement of activity, January 1st through September 16th, we have received prepayments from the county for 3 quarters. And everything appears to be in order as relates to the different line items that are listed there. In terms of the statement of activity comparison last year, somewhat self-explanatory in explaining the both the revenue and expenses that were incurred from January 1st through September 15th, 2020 for the current year we're in versus last year, 2019 fiscal year. As you can see that, I do want to congratulate the staff for an excellent job they've done on our reduced revenue stream. And making the necessary accommodations that were necessary to adjust for that in terms of the expenses. So, so there's been a recognition that our revenue is down, and as a result, our expenses have to be reduced. And as such, staff, I want to commend them once again for doing an excellent job and paying attention to that specific issue. So, once again, we're not in any difficult situation as it relates to our finances at this time, because the scrutiny is being paid to the expenses in particular. And then the last sheet there does show the activity comparing the period January 1st, September 15th, 2020, the period for 2020 budget, and the percent to date, and comparing that to last year, so that's one point as well. And we're September 15th is between 2/3 and 3/4 of the year. So it's about 70%. So that's where, as you can see, that's where we're basically at in terms of our different our expenses and our revenues. With a couple of exceptions, specifically in terms of, let's see, the automobile allowance at 100%. If you recall, that was an amount that was given to Marty. He had 2 automobile allowances, so obviously there's no additional expenses associated with that. So that's been for the year. In terms of the postage, once again, that's much higher. It's my understanding, Michelle, there was a furniture.
It was a $500 bill to give.
To Marty, that's his furniture.
Yes.
That. So these are things are going okay. I do have to raise one yellow flag, if you will, a little bit is, the good news is our legal expenses are pretty much at the budget. They're 72% through the fiscal year. However, you know, as we're aware of, there's the issue associated with the discussions for the merger that are underway, and there may be there probably will be additional legal expenses associated with that. So it's something you may have to monitor and take a budget adjustment for, whatever the case may be, as we go through the last quarter of the year. Other than that, everything's in order, and I do check out each of the checks that have to be signed. I like to sign last those checks, so things are in order, and moving forward. So with that, if there's any questions or just asking me.
And what's not accounted for, we also have $95,000 from USDA that we're starting to work against, and we have the ability to start buying down funds on that for the next week. We have other sources of funding to draw from besides the general funding, what we got for the
Any questions for Rocky? Okay, so no questions for Rocky, then we have a motion to accept his report. Josh, thank you. Second? Anything? Do you have a question back or second? Josh. Okay, I didn't know if you had a question for second, so thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Wonderful. Thank you, Rocky, and for doing such a great job with this as well. The old business is, we don't really have anything, but we do have some interesting stuff to go on over in the new business, and Shelby talk about these items here.
Just for housekeeping purposes, really quickly, we have been on month to month with Storage Corporation for our lease since, I believe, January, and or right around March. They haven't given us a rent increase in 3 years, so normally they would probably tack on about 10%, and they said as a courtesy for letting us go from month to month until we figure out where everything starts to land. They've asked for a 5% rent increase, so we just kind of laid this out for you. You know, 5% sounds like it could end up being a lot, but it's only about $155 per month. We also our copier is the lease is up in October, and we've gone out and gotten at least 3 proposals for that. We can actually, right now, we pay for a copier, and then we have a separate rental agreement for copies. And based on using a Saratoga County-based vendor, we can bring that down to $180 a month, which is a net savings of $164. So, you know, I talked to Kevin about accepting the rent increase. It's a board action, so we just wanted to bring that in front of you so that we can start paying that additional 5% starting in October.
And just to remind everybody, this is still month to month, so we're not signing in for a 1, 2, or 3 year lease. It is still month to month. So.
All right. The second item, we've been working diligently with, well, we started working with SCDC and the Center for Economic Growth, discussing what we can do to help take advantage of a lot of the federal opportunities that are arising because of the national effort to reshore semiconductor manufacturing in the United States. And as most of us know, the remainder of the forest does not have systems infrastructure. The IDA plans is in the process of purchasing a 20-acre plot, and that is going to be adjacent to property that DA Collins actually owns. It's under the Malta Rocket Fuel Company, they call it MRFA. But there are opportunities out there that have not been actually reviewed and studied since about 2000, when I worked at SCPP. We began the process of developing the Local Forest Technology Campus and doing a targeted attraction campaign to attract the semiconductor industry. You know, the industry has consolidated quite a bit, it has changed quite a bit, and we started talking to National Grid, New York State Electric and Gas, which both have significant grant programs for properties that have a regional impact. And they are on board to let us apply for a grant, but what we need to do is leverage that funds. I know we're working closely with Tim Dunn, who has the Economic Development Committee in the town of Malta, and the town of Malta has committed $20,000 to this initiative. The town of Stillwater has committed $10,000 to this initiative, and we have budgeted 25, but you know, I've earmarked $20,000. And we're also in talks with the Sarasota County Industrial Development Agency to come in as a partner on this project. We did an RFP back in August and submitted that to 3 different international organizations or consulting firms that work closely with the semiconductor industry. They know the market, but they also work with life sciences and other industry sectors that would be a good fit. And actually, some of the folks have a great institutional memory of the site because they worked on the development of the campus back in 2000 for different companies. So I just wanted to let the board know where we are right now. You know, like I said, we've got commitments from both towns. We've got soft commitments from the utilities, and we are in the process of going in front of the IDA to match that. So we have that. The way it works with the utilities with their grant programs is you have to spend the money first and then draw it down. So that cash from the IDA would act as a significant amount of leverage. So just wanted to let everyone know that program is it's in process right now, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I also attached a copy of the Jacobs study, which is the one that everyone decided. It costs roughly $180,000, and they expect it would take about 3 to 4 months upon completion of that. And it would look at doing benchmarking of the site, a market analysis, to see what opportunities would make the most sense for it, and then also take a deeper dive into the site to look at how the infrastructure should be expanded. And there's, you know, we have a stretch budget that includes some workbooks on the plan, which would give us some room for doing marketing and follow-up. So, and it's also really important to convene partners. Something that we also are working on right now is the northern towns of Sarasota County. Since we are working with the county Economic Development Committee, with each town, they got $7,100 for their towns, and we helped process those applications. And one of the things that we did with the northern towns, Hadley, Bay, Edinburgh, and Corinth, is try to get them to come up with an intermunicipal marketing plan, or just an economic development plan that would help all of them, because they're all essentially in the Adirondack Park. And we are working with Beam Communications right now. The towns have actually asked if we would be the contractor for that, for a $12,000 contract. And essentially all we would do is be a pass-through, and I would get an MOU with all the towns to sign off on it to say that the money would pass through to this organization and go directly to Beam Communications. Any questions? Rocky?
Yeah, in terms of the one concern with this is the quality of life. That's interesting. That's also for the board, the neighboring towns, public quality of life opportunities. But it, you know, in terms of what we have to offer premiums and powers in terms of the national competition, I think it's important that will do a more effective job of the region, promoting the assets that the region has. We spend too much time talking about high taxes and things like that, without a doubt. So let's focus a little bit also on all the advice we have to offer with attracting employees to the area in terms of excellence. And other issues that ironically are not mentioned in the vegan communication study that they're really. I don't know if it makes sense to incorporate in the scope of work for the.
It will be a part of kind of the critical access that is promoted because the new paradigm is that industry follows talent, and if you have talent that wants to live in an area and with a track record, then it works hand in hand. So I assume that that's going to be part of it. And we have
Especially the schools, the colleges and universities that we have in this region, the community colleges offering development opportunities in that relationship with the educational community and the workforce community to the PhD program that we have here across the school. And so I think it's really something that we should emphasize more.
Yeah, point taken. And the good news is that the consultants that we're working with do have a depth of knowledge about this area, and especially now compared to where it was 20 years ago.
Unless there's another question on the BDN communications analysis, the importance in terms of web access and things like that. Decision remote, I don't know how that's going to be evaluated.
Well, I can actually go into that a little bit more in the president's report because we have at least 2 towns right now that are interested in broadband extension because right now it's a great equalizer, especially when we're talking about remote work and remote schooling. And the issue is it's just magnified right now because of the COVID crisis. And just the transition to remote work and the importance of that and remote teaching is going to just keep pressing that button. So we are looking for resources and helping communities do that. And the more that we can do intermunicipal cooperation, the stronger it's going to be.
Certainly, we're easy to argue with communications and development at this stage of the game. Major infrastructure investment, similar to the public transportation, water and sewer lines, and things like that. Major infrastructure, communications, and internet access. One of the things I don't know at this stage of the game, particularly today, working remotely, the importance of that package that's being offered to track residents.
Okay, going back to the first item there, the Stewart's month-to-month rent increase, we'd like to get a board vote to approve the 5% month-to-month rent increase. So we have a motion to accept that. Thank you, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you much, appreciate it. The next thing that's in new business, in 2 years and 9 months or so that I've been chair of the board, 2 times now it's come to my attention that information's been released to the public in executive session. So I just, this memo's been prepared and given to everybody. I'd like everybody to take a look at it and read it, that when we're in executive session, what happens in executive session is not supposed to leave this, so I feel it's imperative that everybody be made aware of that again. So we don't want to be breaking the confidentiality. The purpose of executive session is that people are free to speak, say what they like, we can disagree all we like, but what happens in executive session is supposed to remain in that session. So I appreciate everybody remember that and move forward and we keep that stuff confidential. So I think it's extremely important. So this memo has been prepared. I'm not going to read it to everybody, but you all have a copy of it. And I think everybody also has a copy of the fiduciary duties and responsibilities that everybody has signed as well. That you would agree to those things, so that can apply to everybody. So I appreciate everybody taking a look at that. Sorry to use more of your own time to do that. The board meetings aren't enough. But we got that. Add on top of it. So a few minutes of reading for everybody. If you have insomnia, that will no doubt cure it. session memo. Craig, Michelle, did you have anything for your presence report?
I just wanted to highlight that we have the Village of Boston Spa Economic Development Plan in final draft form. I'd like to recognize Jenny Kelly on our staff who put really a ton of work into this plan. It's the first one that's in the can. We have quite a few promised. We were definitely slowed down because we have budgetary issues and also some capacity issues internally because we did need some external help. The USDA grant has helped with that a great deal. We do have a great team of consultants that we can lean on and rely on because we want this to be working plans that can be leveraged to get funding for communities. We do expect a public rollout of this on Columbus Day, and that's on a Monday. It's usually a good day to get good media coverage, and so that's in front of you. I just ask kindly that you don't share it with anyone outside of the room, but it just shows you the breadth and depth of the amount of work that we had done, the public engagement. We did at least 8 focus groups with the committee, multiple public meetings, and this is definitely hard to do in the middle of a global pandemic when outreach has been a challenge. So again, I want to give credit where credit is due. Jenny Kelly did an amazing job spearheading this effort and really cutting her teeth on a community economic development, and really proud of her and the amount of work that was done. So you're welcome to take a look at it, but we're proud of it, and the village is really excited about it. So
Shelby shared this report with me a couple of weeks ago. I guess it was really quite refreshing to see that. So I will commend Jenny doing a nice job. So part of that work. I think you all find it quite interesting that some of the work that's being done that we can do when we're given the opportunity. Did you have anything else in your? I know we went over a lot of the other things in movies. The next thing is always going to ask you to go to an executive session for this personnel and legal opinion on some things as well. So if I hope to go to executive session. Anything to say? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.